The world's longest undefended border is suddenly a flashpoint. Former President Trump, eyeing a return, threatens tariffs against Canada, reviving memories of past disputes and sending shockwaves through Ottawa. This isn't just about trade, it's a direct challenge to decades of US-Canada cooperation and the integrated North American economy. Canadian leaders now face a dilemma: absorb the economic hit or risk a damaging trade war with their largest partner. Provincial leaders especially are searching for leverage to protect their interests as the threat of tariffs looms. The very geography that once united the two nations is now a weapon, testing whether their future will be defined by partnership or conflict. British Columbia strikes back, making headlines across North America with a bold and unexpected move that's sending shockwaves through both Canadian and American political circles. The province, known for its rugged landscapes and independent spirit, is stepping onto the international stage in a way few anticipated. In a dramatic escalation, BC is threatening to impose steep tolls on all commercial vehicles traveling to and from Alaska. This isn't just a minor fee. These tolls could significantly increase the cost of moving goods, impacting everything from groceries to construction materials for Alaskans, and putting pressure on US supply chains that rely on this critical route. The Alaska Highway, stretching over 1,300 miles, is more than just a road. It's a lifeline connecting Alaska to the rest of the United States, and it runs right through the heart of British Columbia. This gives BC a powerful strategic advantage, turning the highway into a choke point that can't be easily bypassed. For decades, this route has been essential for trade, tourism, and even military logistics. By targeting trucks, BC is sending a clear message: Canada and its provinces won't simply roll over in the face of US pressure. Instead, they're willing to leverage their unique geography and economic influence to defend their interests. This move is as much about politics as it is about economics, showing that the province is ready to weaponize its position on the map in response to perceived threats or unfair treatment. The implications are huge. By putting Alaska in the crosshairs, BC is making it clear that regional interests can't be ignored in broader national or international disputes. The toll threat is a powerful bargaining chip, one that could force both federal governments to the negotiating table and reshape the dynamics of cross-border relations. It's a dramatic transformation for the Alaska Highway, which was once a symbol of wartime alliance and North American cooperation. Built during World War II as a joint effort between the US and Canada, the highway represented unity and shared purpose. Now, it risks becoming a battleground, with the potential for long-term damage to the trust and goodwill that has defined US-Canada relations for generations. What's more, this standoff highlights how subnational governments like British Columbia are emerging as key players on the international stage. Their actions can complicate the diplomatic landscape, adding new layers of complexity to already delicate negotiations between nations. The Alaska Highway, once a testament to cross-border cooperation and shared ambition, now stands at the center of a high-stakes standoff. Its future, and the future of US-Canada relations, may depend on how this strategic gambit plays out in the weeks and months ahead. For Alaska, tolls on its main land route would mean immediate price hikes on essentials: groceries, fuel, and other daily necessities. The impact would ripple through the economy, affecting every household. Imagine walking into a store and seeing prices jump overnight. It's not just about the numbers on the price tags, it's about the strain on families trying to make ends meet. The cost of living, already high in remote areas, would become even more burdensome. Medicine, a critical need, would also see price surges. Key industries like fishing and healthcare would suffer significantly. The fishing boats, once bustling with activity, might remain docked, and pharmacies could struggle to keep essential medicines in stock. The costs would hit consumers hard, leading to difficult choices between necessities. But BC also risks economic pain. Towns along the highway depend heavily on cross-border traffic for their livelihoods. These communities thrive on the movement of people and goods. A decline in traffic could mean fewer customers for local businesses, from restaurants to retail shops, leading to potential closures and job losses. A sharp drop in traffic could devastate local businesses, while US retaliation could threaten BC's exports. The once busy roadside diners and shops might find themselves empty, struggling to survive. The economic interdependence means that any disruption could have far-reaching consequences. The economies of Alaska and BC are deeply intertwined. A prolonged conflict would be a lose-lose, unraveling decades of mutual benefit. Trade routes that have facilitated growth and prosperity could become battlegrounds of economic tension. Industries on both sides would feel the strain, from agriculture to technology. Uncertainty could freeze investment and stunt growth on both sides. Investors wary of instability might pull back, leaving projects unfinished and dreams unfulfilled. The sight of closed storefronts and empty construction sites could become all too common, signaling a halt in progress. The stability that once defined the U.S.-Canada relationship is now at risk. The friendly exchanges at the border, once a symbol of cooperation, could become memories of the past. Diplomatic tensions might rise, with leaders facing the daunting task of mending frayed ties. Restoring confidence will be a challenge even after the dust settles. Negotiators will need to tread carefully, rebuilding trust step by step. The flags of both nations fluttering side by side remind us of the shared history and the potential for a renewed partnership. The road to recovery will require patience, understanding, and a commitment to finding common ground. Disputes over transit and borders are nothing new for the U.S. and Canada. From the pig war to ongoing fishing and lumber disagreements, history is full of flashpoints. The Alaska Highway itself was built in Wu as a symbol of partnership. Now, toll threats mark a dramatic shift. Past trade fights, like the softwood lumber dispute, show both nations can play hardball. Yet, history also shows that even heated conflicts have been resolved through negotiation and legal frameworks. The question now, can today's leaders find the same pragmatic solutions, or will this standoff mark a deeper rupture? The stakes for both economies and their shared future are high. Navigating a path to de-escalation begins with swift, decisive action at the highest levels of government. The first and most crucial step is immediate high-level diplomacy between Washington and Ottawa. This means not just routine communication, but urgent face-to-face dialogue between top officials, presidents, prime ministers, and senior diplomats, who can set the tone for a constructive process. These early conversations are vital for establishing trust and signaling to both nations and the world that both sides are committed to finding a peaceful resolution. In these talks, both countries would lay their cards on the table, clarifying grievances and misunderstandings. The goal is to identify the root causes of tension and test the political will for compromise before any real economic damage can take hold. This stage is about more than just words. It's about building a framework for honest negotiation and showing a willingness to listen and adapt. If these initial efforts succeed, the process would move to formal negotiations. Here the focus would shift to the technical details, tariffs, tolls, and trade barriers, with experienced trade experts and regional leaders joining the table. Their expertise ensures that any agreement is practical, enforceable, and beneficial to both sides. It's essential that the Premier of British Columbia and Alaska's governor are directly involved. Their regions are on the front lines of any dispute, and their insights are crucial for crafting solutions that address local realities, from cross-border trade to environmental concerns. But diplomacy can't just happen in government offices. A solution imposed from above won't last. Buy-in from those most affected, local businesses, workers, and community leaders, is absolutely essential. Town halls, community roundtables, and open forums give these voices a seat at the table, ensuring the final agreement is grounded in real-world needs. Ultimately, both sides must move beyond threats and rediscover the spirit of flexibility and mutual respect that has long defined U.S.-Canada relations. Only by working together with patience and empathy can they rebuild trust and cooperation. The ultimate goal is clear: a stable, win-win outcome that preserves the prosperity of North America, keeps trade flowing, and strengthens the bonds between neighbors for generations to come. International law and trade agreements, especially the WTO and USMCA, shape this conflict. The U.S. would argue BC's tolls violate the principle of freedom of transit, likely triggering a WTO challenge. Canada could counter that the tolls are a proportional response to illegal U.S. tariffs, a legal countermeasure. This would spark a complex, drawn-out legal battle over who broke the rules first. WTO cases can take years, with mounting economic costs and entrenched positions on both sides. Legal escalation would make diplomatic resolution harder, deepening the rift. The outcome would set a precedent for future cross-border disputes. Tolls on the Alaska Highway would send shockwaves through supply chains, raising costs for Alaskan businesses and consumers. Remote communities, reliant on the highway, would face shortages and higher prices. BC towns dependent on cross-border traffic would see business plummet. Prolonged conflict could force Alaska to invest in costly maritime shipping, permanently altering regional trade. Beyond economics, the dispute threatens decades of cross-border friendships and partnerships. The social fabric connecting these communities is strong, but not unbreakable. Political decisions now risk turning unity into resentment. In the U.S., the border conflict becomes a political flashpoint, especially in an election year. Tough rhetoric may play well nationally, but real pain in Alaska would force leaders to seek a quick resolution. In Canada, Ottawa must balance solidarity with BC against the need to avoid a crippling trade war. The Premier of BC could gain politically at home, but risk friction with federal leaders. The dispute threatens to shift U.S.-Canada relations toward confrontation, making future cooperation harder. Different political systems complicate negotiations, as provinces and states wield real power. Managing internal politics is as challenging as the international dispute itself. Preventing future crises means negotiating a dedicated treaty for the Alaska Transit Corridor. Such an agreement would set clear rules, cost sharing, and dispute resolution, removing the highway as a bargaining chip. Joint infrastructure projects could turn the highway into a symbol of renewed cooperation. Deeper economic integration would make both sides more invested in each other's success. Early conflict resolution mechanisms at both federal and regional levels are essential. This crisis is a chance to modernize and strengthen one of the world's most successful partnerships. The road ahead demands trust, collaboration, and a commitment to unity over division.